You are tuned in to Kids
In the Pit.
Hey guys, it's Gabe from the Kids in the Pit podcast. Today I'm joined by Corey Williams from the hardcore band Internal Affairs. Thanks for letting me interview you. So,
Yeah,
what do you do in Internal Affairs?
I was the singer. Uh, I did a lot of the songwriting as far as um, writing the songs. I played guitar in a few other bands as well, but um, Internal Affairs kind of just started as me and the drummer of Piece by Piece just needed something to do since Tara kept stealing our singer, and it kind of was just like it kind of became my outlet. I just wrote stuff, and then whatever friends were around at the time contributed stuff. Like we didn't have guest singers on every song because we were trying to do something annoying by having a million singers. It was literally just whoever was there sang on stuff because they were there. Why not? It was just something for fun. And then the band kind of turned into something more than what we thought it was going to be at the beginning.
Nice. So, what year did Internal Affairs start?
So Internal Affairs technically started, I think it was like fall of 2002. We recorded and released our demo in December of 2002. We just called it the 2003 demo because we didn't really have a whole year of with the release. So we figured it would just more appropriate just be a 2003 release. I don't really remember dates of our first shows and things like that, but yeah, 2000, the end of 2002 is when we really started doing stuff like writing, recording demos, and figuring out a lineup for the band.
Nice. So, is Eternal Affairs still playing shows?
Sort of, not really. We're not. We didn't get back together to play regularly. We didn't really have any intention of playing again, but you know, over the course of the pandemic, lots of things hardcore happened as far as like people creating new bands, old bands creating new music, and a friend of ours, Bert from Safe Inside Records, he wanted to put out a discography for us. And with the talk and the release of the discography, the opportunity to play a few shows came up. So we played one, and it was incredible. It was for the children in Los Angeles. It's a charity event that our friends put on every December, and it was a very important thing for me personally because my friend Nate, who's been doing SOS booking for many years, we played a lot of shows for him back in the day, and he did a lot of awesome things for our band. So when it comes time to contribute or do something to participate in any events that he does, especially a charitable event, I think it's incredible to take part, and especially for kids. Anytime anything for kids comes up, you always got to do what you can to participate. So back to kind of the question as far as like, are we together? Um, I think if another opportunity comes up to play a show, there's a good possibility we would say yes. No one's really beating down my door with offers and things like that. So with everyone living all over the place, no one lives in the same city anymore. We can't just get together and jam and practice and play locally. So in order for us to do something, it would take a lot of work. Everyone's got families and children and careers and stuff these days, and yeah, the door is open to do more, but we're not in a situation where we can say yes to everything, unfortunately.
Oh. So, where did the band start? And do you all still live there?
Yeah, so when the band started, um, we were from San Fernando Valley, Los Angeles. So it's a part of the city of Los Angeles, the county of Los Angeles, but the area we were from was San Fernando Valley. Um, and it was at first it was mostly just me and the drummer Sean. And then when we recorded the demo, our friend um, from Linwood came and helped out on bass, and we never really had a guitar player. So I think it was like the first handful of shows. I don't know exactly, but all the guitar players were kind of fill-ins at first. Like Todd Jones played a couple shows. Um, Dwayne from Allegiance played a couple shows, and eventually our friend John Westbrook, who is from No Reply, Life's Halt, Knife Fight, he took over the reins on guitar. He lived in a different part of Los Angeles, but you know, Los Angeles is Los Angeles. Um, so we all lived in the same area. Um, and that lineup was once the lineup became like once the band became a little bit more of a serious band playing regularly, it would be me, Sean the drummer, John on guitar, and Dennis McDonald on bass. And he would drive up from San Diego actually, and then him and his wife would eventually move to the Valley as well. And it was just another piece of the grand scale of Los Angeles hardcore. It's easy to just say Los Angeles hardcore, but unless you've been there and seen how ridiculously large geographically it is, you know, we're talking you could live 2 hours away and still be in Los Angeles. And that's mostly because of traffic than it is mileage wise or whatnot. But we kind of lived all over, but same area in the same weird way as well.
Nice. So, where do you live now?
So now I'm a resident of Long Island. I live in Bayshore with my wife and my son, and we're about, I would say, about an hour's drive from Manhattan, Brooklyn. But I've lived here just about 11 years now, and it's cool, you know, over the years of touring and or bands coming to town on tour, we've made a lot of awesome connections with people on the East Coast and Internal Affairs specifically. Most our tours played Long Island, so we had made a lot of friendships, bands here, just hardcore kids in general, and weirdly, it's like probably better friendships with people from Long Island than even say the city. Um, so it's also almost like home. Um, San Fernando Valley, being a valley, if you just replace the mountain ranges on the south and the north side of the valley and replace them with ocean, you're on Long Island. It's just a giant flat piece of suburban land that's very congested. Lots of traffic, lots of people, lots of food. That's about it.
Nice. My mom and I hung out in Queens a few days ago. Yeah, and we explored. We also went to Brooklyn, so that was fun.
Cool, cool. What'd you guys go see? Did you go for a show or did you guys go
So,
for anything specific?
we were we were on a road trip to the Bane shows, and on our way back, we stayed with our friend in Queens.
Cool. Very cool.
So we explored there. We went to we went to a Nintendo store. We went to a we passed like Tonight Show area. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um
Eat some
Past ton of
pizza.
places.
Did you eat some pizza?
No, sadly.
That's all right. I'm sure you got decent pizza there too. If it was California, I wouldn't be asking about you eating pizza.
Hmm. We also went to a famous toy store. We went to a ramen place, and that was the first time I've tried actual ramen that isn't like
Top
instant
ramens.
noodles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you get in it?
So there was egg, there was pork, and there was some other type of meat. It kind of looked like tofu, but like it didn't have the tech. I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, sounds awesome. Ramen's
Yeah,
great.
it was all great. Um, so you have a son?
Yeah, yeah. His name's Charlie. He just turned 8 years old.
Nice.
And yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome.
So
He's my best friend. That's all I do is play. I go to work and I come home to hang out with him and my wife, but he puts me to work.
nice. So what's he into? What is he into? Video games, music?
Yeah, well, as far as like music, not really. Like he's at the age now where he's kind of discovering things on his own. He doesn't really like anything I play, so I don't really shove it down his throat. I figure if hardcore metal and punk or whatever becomes his thing, I'll educate him the best I can with it. But for now, I'll play just basic like I don't know, top 20 stuff from like whatever. I'll play a little classic rock, might play a little like 80s new wave or something like that. It's just stuff that like is easy to sing along to, and like once you're a minute into the song, I can always hear him singing along. Like he learns the hooks and choruses real quick to stuff. But I think as far as music, I think he's more interested in like dancing. Like it seems like every kid is obsessed with like TikTok dancing and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
as long as it's appropriate, I don't mind it. And it seems like most of the stuff that him and my wife watch is obviously appropriate, and that's kind of what he's into as far as music wise. He does show interest in learning drums and guitar, so I try to show him guitar, and then it goes in one ear out the other real quick. And we play guitar down in our playroom where there's lots of toys, so Legos and Hot Wheels kind of take over the jam session. His godfather is Nick from Terror, so when learning drums becomes a real opportunity, he'll have an awesome uh, instructor to teach him how to play drums. But as far as things he's into, like he likes Minecraft, he likes Pokemon,
Yep.
but he'd really rather just be outside. Like he wants to be outside playing soccer, me pitching the ball so we can crank home runs and things like that. We do a lot of bike riding and scooters and stuff like that. So for me as a father, like there's nothing better than just being outside and being physically active. Um, he's an incredible swimmer, so you know, throw him in the beach and let him get smashed by some waves, or go to the pool and jump off a diving board or something. He's game for all of it. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, I'm really into Minecraft, so
Yeah, yeah. I don't know much about it. Like I try to watch like he'll watch things on like YouTube so he can kind of like learn the different things, because obviously trying to figure it all out on your own is a little hard, but if you watch someone teach you something, I guess it makes it really easy. But I wouldn't say he's obsessed with it, but he's pretty dang close. You like Minecraft? You've been playing it a long time?
yeah. 2 years.
Oh, okay, that's a lot longer than him. He's been playing for, I don't know, I would say like, I don't know, maybe like 6 months or something, maybe a little more. He's been playing, but he's had an interest in it for longer. We offered it to him a while ago, and I think he was more interested in the idea of it than actually playing it. But now that he's played it a bunch, like now he just wants to do that.
Cool. Yeah. maybe we could play online sometimes. My friend Lucy and I play online together a ton. It's really
Uh,
fun.
that would be awesome. He actually doesn't like play against other people. Right now, he's just doing mostly like creative stuff just so that way he can learn how to do it. But later we'll exchange, I guess, like usernames or whatever, and then that way you guys can do that because that would be awesome.
Well, you don't go against each other. You kind of like, I mean, you could do like PvP and fight against each other with swords or something, but mostly you like work together and build
Uh,
something.
yeah, that sounds sick.
Yeah,
Definitely, we'll swap usernames.
yeah. So for those not familiar with internal affairs, what song should they check out?
Well, I would say the band isn't the most um, age appropriate for someone your age, but with that being said, that's mostly because of um, choice of words. There's a lot of bad words in it, and it's mostly because lyrically the songs are very angsty. They came they were written during a time in my life where I was angry. I don't know if I would really write different lyrics now, even though I'm in a better place in my life as far as like mental. But as far as songs to recommend, it's hard. I guess like just whatever's the top five on Spotify is a good place to start. We have a lot of recordings, and all the recordings sound a little different. My voice is a little different, so one record or something that might be someone's favorite might not be the next because of how my voice kind of changed over the years. Um, as far as like songs, the two songs that usually get the best reactions are No Way Out, which is what we titled our discography, and You're Dead from the self-titled. Um, a lot of the songs that we've written, the lyrics are somewhat intended to be tongue in cheek, um, a little bit on the ridiculous side to take away from it. They're not exactly intended to be super serious. As far as the song "You're Dead" is not about killing somebody or wishing someone to be dead. It's more just you're dead to me. Like you just go be you on your own elsewhere so I can live my life as I want to live mine without the interruption of um, someone creating something in my space that's unwanted, unneeded. And so I think that those are good places to start, but like I said, the lyrics do have a tongue-in-cheek value to it. They're definitely ridiculous, and underlying under all the ridiculousness, there's some kind of positivity there to be had. But um, I don't think that we're the band that you would go to for that kind of lyrical content. Like it's people. Some people don't ever understand that, like in hardcore specifically, just because that's what we like, what we live, and not everyone is trying to attain the same thing, and that's not a bad thing. Like take like Bane and Half Heart, two incredible bands, incredible messages, incredible lyrical content, um, awesome people in the bands, but that's not what we were going for. I think when we started the band or just throughout the course of the band, we just did things the way we did them. And if people liked it, they liked it. If they didn't, they didn't. And we were fortunate enough that there was enough people that um I don't really know if you would call it a message, but they liked what we were about. And yeah, so I don't know where else to go with it, but with that, but it's just it was just a message of you don't need everyone in your life. Sometimes you're better off without certain people.
Yep. So I listen to a lot of songs. I mean, I listen to a lot of songs about words, so I think I'll be okay to check those out. So
Yeah, I'm gonna trust that your mom knows best, and I don't think she would have had us doing this interview if she didn't think it was appropriate enough. Um, I'm just speaking from a dad point. You know what I mean? Like if I wasn't a dad, I'd probably be throwing all kinds of words out that aren't appropriate. But now that I'm a dad, I kind of have learned to watch my mouth. My kid hasn't seen me play. He hasn't seen me play guitar, hasn't seen me sing in a band. Um, and as far as like playing guitar, no big deal. I won't have a microphone or nothing, but I'm sure at some point he's going to see internal affairs, or maybe I'll sing in another band one day, and then he's going to see a different side of his dad. But when you put the mic in the hand, switch flips, and you can't always control what comes out.
yep. So yeah, I'm 11 now, so I'm allowed to listen to much more like curse words than I was 8 or 9, and
Yeah,
because I listened to Descendants and stuff like that. So
yeah. Descendants is awesome, but Descendants have some wild lyrics too.
they
Yeah,
do.
yeah. But that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yep. So have you been in any other bands?
I've been in a few. I'll try to remember most, but so I started the first band I was ever in was called Stand Your Ground. Um, our friend Todd Jones, he was a really young guy at the time. I think he was like 16, but amazing guitar player. And he came over to get some photos for me to do a zine because I was a photographer at the time. And he saw I had a guitar. Long story short, we started a band called Stand Your Ground. Things didn't work out. I moved on to being Carry On, which had already been a band for a little while. I did Carry On till the end of its run in 2001. And then very quickly after Carry On, me and Nick Jett and a few of our friends, we started Piece by Piece. And then during the early time of Piece by Piece, Nick started Terror with Todd and Scott. And as you know, Terror took over the world. And so we were left to figure out, band wise, something to do while he was always gone. And there's obviously, no malice towards that because watching them do what they do is incredible. And so the drummer Piece by Piece and myself, we started Internal Affairs. Um, During those times, there was a few bands I filled in for and helped out. Um, Todd and I started a band called Snake Eyes, which was a short-lived band, but it was kind of like the demo was if you were to make like if you took like the Carry On LP and the Terror demo and made it like less moshy, but kept it super fast. Like it's kind of like what it sounds like. It's really, really good. It's incredible. One of my favorite things that Todd's ever written. And then after Internal Affairs, I started a band called Absolute Madness. It was a little bit more of like a crossover thrash band, or at least that was the intention, but still hardcore related. And at that around that time is when I moved away for school, found my way to New York, and then me, Busky from The Promise, and a million bands as well, and our friend Yvonne, we started a band called Manipulate, and I had to step down from that band. I got sick for a little while and couldn't really play guitar too well. So they found some of the guys. They recorded a record, amazing. Um, and since then, I filled in for the wrong side for a few reunion shows, which were awesome. And that's kind of the gist of it. There might be something I'm missing, but those are the important ones.
Nice. So, what was the first punk, hardcore, or metal show you attended, and how old were you?
So I think I was in high school. We discovered hardcore in about eighth grade through like I found it through like metal, like Anthrax and stuff like that was my thing. And then I moved to a new school, and all the skateboarders, I was into skateboarding, and all these dudes were into like super cool music. They exposed me to everything from like Youth of Today, Suicidal Tendencies, um, Fugazi, Minor Threat. These guys had already like knew about this stuff, but none of them were going to shows yet. I don't think anyone knew about going to shows yet. And then in high school, friends would have um like little punk shows. I think I went to a couple like little local things, but my first real hardcore show, I was, I guess, 16. My buddy Andrew, he played drums in a band called Eyelid, and he drove me to. It was epic. It was Undertow, Snapcase, Strife, Ignite, 1134, and Pale Fire at this place called the Las Palmas Theater in Hollywood. And I mean, for anyone from that generation, that era of SoCal hardcore, like it's an infamous show. Um, it was huge. It was eye opening. It was incredible. I didn't stage dive. I didn't mosh. I didn't do anything. I was just like sitting there, blown away by how insane the entire thing was. Like just watching people diving off of crazy things, and meeting everyone in the bands seemed weird. I was like, oh, these guys are, they're important. Like these guys are in the band. But you get introduced to people just like, they're your next door neighbor or whatever. Oh, this is my buddy, and next thing you know, you're hanging out with Rick and Andrew from Strife or something. And it was really awesome experience because it showed you the community behind it, that it's not MTV. It's literally, a piece of the community, and you get to be a puzzle piece that gets inserted in and take part. So that was my first show. And then from there, I mean, it was like wildfire. Anywhere you can get a flyer. Back then there was no internet, so you had to either have someone that went to a show bring you a flyer home, or hopefully flyers made it to the local record stores. But I would say that was 94, 95, 1995. And I mean, we started driving everywhere. School nights, we'd drive 3 hours to a show, and anywhere we could. It
Cool.
was great.
So, that's what's so cool about hardcore. Like, meeting the band is like you can just talk to them.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the whole thing too, right? Like you have the ability just to walk right up to someone and talk to them. And if someone's going to give you some kind of like attitude, like they're too cool, they don't belong, like, and that's the funny thing too, is like the the subject of gatekeeping comes up, and like some people talk about it like it's a good thing. Some people talk about it like it's a bad thing. I think it depends on what you're gatekeeping. Um, I don't think hardcore's for everybody, but that doesn't mean not everyone's welcome. I think that everyone's welcome to come and see what our world is about. But if you choose not to respect it the way it's intended to be lived in and participated in. Like if you come to shows to start fights, you don't belong. um if you're coming just to start trouble or whatever it might be, like, that person doesn't belong. um but that's not saying that not everyone can try to be part of it. Like, this isn't Taylor Swift, this isn't AC/DC. It's a piece of our lives that we put more than 110% into, and it's very, very important. And it's good when you get to see everyone else giving back the same. Not everyone has to contribute something the same. Like, some people book shows, some people take photos, some people make bands, some people do all of that. But in reality, the most important person is the person paying at the door, because if we don't have people coming to the shows, then there's no shows to be had. So I think right now hardcore is in this insane, incredible place because it seems bigger than it's ever been. I know, like, in the 80s, you hear stories of, Olympic Auditorium having 3,000 people, and lots of crazy stories of, other shows elsewhere and stuff like that. But, like, in general, I feel like every show's packed. So many insane bands coming out right now. And I guess just people just get it right now better than they have in the past. Or maybe it's just that, I don't know. I don't know. It's awesome. I like to see that it's just as good or better than it ever was. That's awesome.
Um, so what are some of your favorite? What are some bands you suggest people go see live?
Live. Okay, so, like, we'll talk current bands. Not I'm not the aficionado on current bands because I'm a family man and I don't exactly live close to the city. I don't get to go to shows as often as I could or would like to, but um bands that I enjoy, some Long Island bands or New York bands that I love. Um King Nine, they're not new, but they're relevant. Um Amazing. Uh Incendiary, they're
Oh,
a little bit
nice. Yeah.
they're a little bit on the heavier side, but
Mm-hmm.
lyrically, and I think between songs, the things that Brendan has to say are pretty incredible. I feel like not every band likes to talk between songs. Some bands talk too much between songs. And I think Incendiary does it just right. And the things that he has to say are incredibly important. And I think that's it's a pretty wild thing to be part of because he's right on the money with so many things. Um,
Yeah.
newer Long Island band, Painted Truth is ass whooping. That is awesome band. Uh, Regulate's great. Um, but as far as, like, other bands, I mean, just seeing videos, 'cause I ain't seen them live yet, but I mean, Speed from Australia, the videos are insane, insane. And the fact that a foreign band is getting love in the United States is great because there's been bands that are foreign bands that have done well, but I don't know if I've seen them do that amazing. Like Rise and Fall from Belgium did really good. Um, there's plenty of foreign bands that have come over and they did good. Miles Away from Australia did good. No Apologies. No Turning Back from Europe. But man, the videos of that band are great. Drain's an amazing band to see live. They sound good. Sammy's charisma is insane. I mean, the responses are just bonkers. Um, and then you always got to go with the classics, AF Madball, Terror, the three right there. You're not going to get let down. Um, and you guys have the ability. You get to check these things out online and see for yourself. Um, I wouldn't always hold that against the band. Sometimes a band has a bad night. Maybe a video is being shot of their first time in a town where people don't know them. But if you like the way a band sounds, I would just say go see them. You might have a different experience than other people are having, and don't ever let that sway your opinion. Always have your own. Always build your own opinion about things. Don't swallow the word of others.
Okay. So, what is your favorite place you've toured in?
Man, I mean, I got to be honest. Australia is the best. Now, that's not taking away from the other places. So, the reason why I say Australia is the best at the time, it was the closest to being home. Like Australia, they speak English. The whole country feels like Southern California with the beaches and whatnot. Their hardcore scene is incredible. They have so many amazing bands. Um, so touring there was pleasant and easy, like super easy. Japan is just like, it is so crazy to be somewhere that's not a third world country, but you feel like you're on another planet, but in like the best way. The the way you're treated there is incredible. Once again, lots of amazing bands. I mean, these are bands that are not professional bands, but every band performs like they're winning a Grammy that night or something. Like they were so professional about everything. They were incredible. I was lucky enough to tour South America playing guitar for Strife, and that was an incredible experience because we played places like Peru and Chile, and then we played um, Argentina and Brazil, and they were such different scenes. Maybe that's culturally, maybe that's just because of how big their scene was. Either way, amazing shows. We were fortunate to go to Guatemala, and at the time, I think the First Step was the only band that had been there before us. I mean, as far as hardcore wise, I mean, maybe other punk bands have been there. That was awesome. Um, we played a bunch of shows in Tijuana. Mexico was always very cool. We never did a proper Mexican tour. Um, we played Canada a bunch, and we did 2 tours in Europe. And Europe was really cool. It was very difficult touring there during political times. They take their politics very, very serious, and they want to make sure all of their political opinions, which is kind of unfortunate. We're there to play hardcore and live hardcore, and um, but I respect the fact that they take it serious because they care and they worry about what goes on in the world. So, when we get to live a little more blind to reality, what's going on, places like that took it a lot more serious. So, it's good that they're a little more in tune with stuff. But as far as Europe goes, I would say the UK might have been my favorite of Europe, which I don't know if they consider themselves Europe. They're not the mainland, but they're over there across the pond. Um, but and that's nothing against the US, We live in the US, so we see the US all the time. So I think as far as picking somewhere to tour, you know, I pick somewhere that's not my regular place. It's something that's more of a treat to go to and be invited to, and so I guess Australia would be my spot.
Cool. Yeah, I went to England and Wales with my dad's band a few weeks ago for 3 shows.
Oh, awesome. What band's your dad in?
Thought Control,
Oh, sick.
like a
Awesome.
New Jersey crust punk band.
Very cool.
No,
Very
they're
cool.
not a Pink Floyd cover band.
Yeah. No, I used to do a lot of go to a lot of Crust shows in the 90s. Got to see Dystopia, His Hero's Gone, Unruh, Spaz, a lot of the crusty power violency kind of bands and stuff like that. So I dig it. It's awesome.
Yeah. Also going back to Australia, we just met a guy from Australia who flew to Boston for the Bane shows. He's awesome. His name is Lachlan, and I loved his accent so much.
Yeah. It's great. The hardest part about the Australian accent is that they speak in like they don't like the dialect is just not to say words. They just cut words in half and you're supposed to just understand
Yeah.
what it is. But nah, they're awesome.
Yeah. Um, so what is your favorite type of food from another country?
Well, when you're in Europe, you get fed the vegan mush a lot. So we ate a lot of McDonald's in Europe. But Nando's in the UK is good. Um, Australia, like the United States, it's super culturally diverse. So there's lots of different kinds of food and stuff like that. We tried all the different meat pies where you're eating kangaroo and crocodile and all kinds of stuff like that. But as far as favorite food on tour, I mean, you're not going to beat Brazilian barbecue when you're in Brazil. You're vegetarian or vegan, well, that's not going to be your favorite. But I'm neither, so I'll stick with the Brazilian barbecue. It's amazing. Mexico, I have a very sensitive stomach, so I'll save you details. It's scary to eat there because you just don't know, man. You don't know.
Yep. I heard don't drink tap water.
Oh, Montezuma's Revenge, man. Yeah, you. Everyone likes to mess with like street meat. They want street tacos, eat the Mexican hot dogs off the food cart. Like, I'm sure it's okay, but I mean, I drink tap water here and I get sick, so I'm not trying to ruin my day and shit on stage or something like that.
Yep. So what was your favorite TV show and movie when you're my age?
So when I was your age, my dad he uh he didn't really care about ratings. So I saw pretty much everything and anything by the time I was your age. But my two favorite movies, I saw them both in the theater. I saw my mom took me to see Return of the Jedi, which was amazing. I was a big Star Wars nerd when I was a kid, and I still enjoy it now. And my dad took me to see Red Dawn, and I don't know. I think I was like 6 or 7 when that came out, and until recently, Red Dawn was the most violent movie ever made. So probably not exactly age appropriate, but um, so when we were kids, we always played war, and it was always Red Dawn. We'd always be the Wolverines running around. As far as TV shows go, man, I'm trying to think. 11 years old, what was on TV? Probably Married with Children. It was just the most ridiculous show. Um, I mean, I still loved cartoons. Like, I never stopped watching cartoons. So, like, I was big on G.I. Joe, Transformers, and then when like The Simpsons came out. So, I don't know. I don't know. The TV show thing's hard. It's hard to think about like what we used to watch. Like, we always had to sit around and watch TV as a family, and family ties and that stuff sucked. So I don't know, but we'll stick with Married with Children. Al Bundy's the king.
Yeah. I like The Simpsons. It's pretty good.
Simpsons are great. I love that like right now, like everyone's like keeps coming out with like Simpsons saw the future. They keep showing clips of like things that they put in their cartoons that didn't think were going to happen, but they're like all coming true. It's pretty wild.
Kind of crazy. They predicted Trump being president. They predicted like ton of more stuff, but that's like the main
Yeah,
thing.
it's insane. Insane.
It's just I think like I feel like the Simpsons are like controlled by like people in the future, like masterminds or something. Because it is scary how accurate it is.
It is so crazy, dude. It is so crazy.
Yep. So if you had to add an animal's face on your face, everything else remaining the same, which animal would you choose?
Man, oh man. Yeah, I don't know. Am I supposed to, would I want to be funny looking or would I want to be scary looking?
Or
I don't know. I think I'm hairy like a grizzly bear, but like sometimes I'm slow like a sloth. So I don't know. We'll give me a sloth face.
okay, sloth, nice.
What's your choice? What would you do?
So we think if there would be something that would be like useful. Maybe like a dog, so I have really strong teeth or something. Because if I did that, I could eat very like you could. Yeah, dogs have very strong teeth, so that could be helpful.
It could be scary. Someone's messing around. Bark at them. They get
Ruff,
away quick. Dog boy.
ruff, ruff. So, if you could tell your 11-year-old self anything at all, what would you tell him?
All right. So I don't know, without like sounding too old manish, like the whole like growing up in the 80s. I mean, unless you grew up in the 80s, you don't really know. Like literally, we kind of raised ourselves in the streets. Not literally, but we didn't spend a lot of time at home. There was no like hanging out on the couch. We were always out on our bikes, like feral animals just running around the streets, getting in trouble. Um, so I don't know things that like my parents told me. I'm sure they told me a lot of stuff that sunk in, and I live to those standards now as a person. But one of the things I tell my son is I gave him one rule and one rule only. And the one rule is always be aware of your surroundings. And that rule applies to everything. That could be knowing who's walking through the door at a restaurant or the mall or your school or your house. That could be the look on someone's face. Are you offending someone on accident? Are you hurting someone's feelings? Um, is there a dog near you that looks unpleasant or unhappy? Maybe it's sick and maybe you should avoid it. You're skateboarding down the sidewalks, you see a crack in the ground, it's part of your surroundings. um it the rule kind of applies to every aspect of your life in some way or another, and I think that some people might call it common sense, some people don't have common sense, and I don't think there's a lot of things in life that you can't be taught. You either just have it or you don't. And then, obviously like a lawyer, you go, or a doctor, you go to the school and you learn it. But there's a lot of things, just basic everyday walk through life that people have been told over and over and over again. They just doesn't sink in. But it's like if this is like one thing I could have like had on me, like not really tattoo an 11-year-old kid's arm, but you know, have it somewhere where you could read it every day, maybe like a sign on your bedroom door or whatever. Be aware of your surroundings. And I think today's day and age in the world that rule applies more than ever. And it would really help a lot of people with knowing how to interact with other people, personal safety, and or simple as like safety for others. Like you know you could be your mother's savior one day because something could be happening, and because you're paying attention while she's doing mother stuff or whatever, um, that can do a lot. So I think if I could tell my 11-year-old self that, I think that maybe would be something that I would say.
Nice. So, anything to add before we wrap it up?
Sure, I want to know what your favorite bands are. I want to know what your favorite classic bands are. I want to know what your favorite current bands are. I want to know something about you.
Okay, so my first like three favorite bands: Bad Religion, then Hot Water Music, then Hot Water Music. So it was Bad Religion, Hot Water Music, and Sick of It All. And
Oh,
those got rearranged a few times.
that's okay. You're allowed to have a top three in no particular order because some bands might be important for specific reasons. So it might be you listen to one band because of when you feel a certain way, or you might listen to a certain band when you do certain things, you know, like maybe while you're playing video games, you like to listen to a certain band or whatever. So I don't think your favorite bands have to be in a particular order or anything. I think just having something that you love. So what's your favorite Sick of It All record?
Mm, so probably Death to Tyrants
Nice. Nice.
or Nonstop, maybe.
Cool. Mine would probably be Just Look Around. When I was younger, it would have been Blood, Sweat, or Scratch the Surface. But I think based on what I revisit the most, I would say Just Look Around. I think it's got the attitude of the early days, but the production is really good. What's your favorite Bad Religion record?
Um, just trying to. Oh, Against the Grain.
Oh,
My
that's a good one.
my
That's a
favorite song,
really good one.
and my favorite song is Anastasia. Anastasia is it pronounced? Okay, I pronounced it wrong. Anesthesia.
Yeah. My favorite record would be Suffer. I don't know if I have a particular song. I haven't really revisited Suffer in a long time, but I've seen them a bunch live, and they're an incredible band. I'm not that familiar with Hot Water Music, not really my thing, but a lot of people love that band more than anything. So I'm sure, like, you interviewed Scott Vogel yet?
Yep,
Did he tell you Hot Water Music is his favorite band?
yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he's got good taste. So if he knows, he knows. So, and as far as current bands, like what are some of your favorite live performances you've seen recently?
Okay,
Obviously Bane was insane, right?
yep. That was Six Show. Um, I saw I see Painted Black sometimes. They're really fun. I saw them in Atlantic City. That was sick.
Yeah, they're awesome. Dan's awesome.
Yep.
Cool. Cool. Awesome. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. So thanks to Corey for joining me today, and thanks to all of you for watching or listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Spotify and other streaming platforms. Until next week, bye.
All right, later, dude. Thanks for having me.